Good morning, class. This is Robert Gay, and I will be presenting my case study on 7-Eleven Japan. But first, a quick overview of 7-Eleven Japan. It was created in 1974 with the first store in Tokyo. In 1990, it merged with US 7-Eleven, the original 7-Eleven, when South Corp had bankruptcy. Therefore, 7-Eleven Japan had offered $430 million for 70% of the country, which I was thinking today that's not very much, but remember that was nearly 35 years ago. They own about 22% of all convenience stores in Japan. That's a large market share. Other strategy is a fundamental network expansion policy on market dominant strategy. And part of that is around every 50 to 60 convenience stores, they have a distribution center there so they can restock those stores very fast. 7-Eleven Japan is highly sought after. Only about 1 out of 100 applicants for a franchise are awarded. And then in 1994, their 7-Eleven Japan corporate received 45% of profits, where 55% went to the individual store owner. So how does 7-Eleven Japan invest in 5 supply chain drivers, and how did that contribute to their achievement of strategic fit? What drivers did they prioritize? Well, first, the 5 supply uncertainties or drivers are excess capacity, excess inventory, how much inventory they have, rapid delivery, your trucking, distribution to your stores, information, today's world, artificial intelligence, and then pricing, of course, and fluctuations in prices. Strategic fit is the competitive and supply chain strategies are aligned. First, competitive strategy, that's your customer needs that a company seeks to satisfy. And supply chain strategies is material, shipping, manufacturing, etc. Are you going to do that in-house or outsource that? Now, 7-Eleven Japan, I thought they exceeded in 2 areas. One was the excess inventory. As stated previously, they kept a combined distribution center, CDC, around every 50 to 60 stores. So they had quick access to all the supplies they needed. And also information was vital. So it's nice if you have these stores, but what do you need to stock in those stores? And in the case study, it talked about each store by 11 p.m. had to update and submit their inventories and sales for that day, which then would help align which supplies needed to be shipped to the store. So what are some examples of interesting cases where businesses have structured their supply chain to improve supply chain drivers? We've all heard of Amazon, and I think they're the tip of the spear when it comes to the supply chain strategy of being efficient. You can order something in the morning and have it delivered to your house that evening. Now, another company that does well in the competitive strategy is Chipotle restaurant. Chipotle restaurant prides itself on always having fresh food. Their meat is never frozen. Therefore, in their restaurants, there are no freezers and no microwaves. So again, they're focusing on the competitive strategy. But during my research, I did find another company that really caught my attention. And that's called Unilever. Unilever is a global ice cream manufacturer. They have 35 factories worldwide with over 3 million freezers. Now, what's unique about them is they use artificial intelligence and the weather forecast to help forecast their supply needs. And using their AI, they've determined that 1 degree can impact sales. So, and that saves them money with regards to fresh ingredients of milk or vanilla or cocoa. There's a whole list of items using that AI. So in the supply chain drivers that they're focused on is information and artificial intelligence. Well, finally, how could 7-Eleven replicate the level of success it had in Japan in the United States? Well, a couple of items come to my mind. First, I think they need to capitalize on the information section of the supply chain drivers. As previously stated, and how AI and weather for the ice cream company would be a good example for 7-Eleven. Utilizing the information part of the supply chain driver, they could forecast when an area is going to be excessively hot. Therefore, they could focus on getting more cold drinks such as soda, water or beer, etc., into the storefront and make sure it's fully stocked. Another focus is the, I think, U.S. 7-Elevens could improve is the delivery and distribution centers. More focus on the CDC or the combined distribution centers. Right now, 7-Elevens, you think you have your Little Debbie or your Hostess or your Coca-Cola. Those individual deliveries come in, just a Little Debbie delivery or the Coca-Cola comp or the beer truck. But if they had one combined distribution center, then it would just be one truck delivering to the store and stocking it, which would be much more efficient overall. And then too, they might could save some money via bulk buying through these distributors. And lastly, the biggest thing I think, if they want to, again, the question is to how to compare to Japan. I think they're going to change the culture of how they're viewed. They need to rebrand. See, when I think of 7-Eleven in the US, I just think junk food, lottery tickets, cigarettes, beer, gas for my car. Japan's success is fresh food. Today's younger generation, they're looking for fresher food, items. Hence the reason why you see Whole Foods and Trader Joe's are really taking off in the U.S. market. So if 7-Eleven could kind of rebrand or train that, I think they could be more comparable to the success received in Japan. This concludes my case study analysis of 7-Eleven Japan. I look forward to your comments and I look forward to seeing your case study review. Goodbye.